Sara did not sleep all the night. She kept looking at the ceiling with tired eyes. Her heart was full of thoughts and worries. She had a strong dream to speak English confidently, but the journey looked too difficult to begin. In the morning she sat on her study table. She looked at her notebook with a deep breath. She wrote one sentence in English again and again. I want to speak English clearly and confidently. It was her first goal, and she wanted to achieve it. She did not have anyone at home who could help. Her parents were kind, but they did not know English. Her younger brother was busy with his own world, so she decided to become her own teacher. She picked up her mobile and searched how to learn English. She found one channel called English with Future. The title said Learn English by Shadowing Stories. She played the first video and heard a voice slowly speaking. Hello, my name is Emma. I am learning English. Sara listened again and again and tried to speak with it. At first her tongue got stuck in the middle. She felt shy even though no one was in the room. She paused the video and repeated the same line. Slowly her voice started matching the speaker. Her face smiled a little when she spoke it fully. She wrote that sentence in her notebook, and wrote it again with different words. My name is Sara. I want to speak better English. Then she practiced standing in front of the mirror. Her voice was low, but her heart was full of hope. She knew the journey would not be easy, but she had made her first move, the first move that would change her life. Sara did not want to stop now. She promised herself to do this every day. Next morning Sara woke up early before sunrise. She washed her face and sat with her notebook. She played another shadowing video on her phone. This time the speaker said, I like learning English every day. Sara listened closely and repeated it line by line. Her voice was not perfect, but it was getting clearer. She looked into the mirror and said, I will not give up. She repeated the same sentence 10 times with her hand moving. She believed movement helps her remember better. She smiled at herself and said, I can do it. Sara made a list of 10 short English sentences. She practiced them slowly like a song. I wake up early, I brush my teeth, I go to school. These were small but strong steps for her dream. Every day she read them before leaving her home. At school she stayed quiet during English class. She understood the lessons but could not speak. The teacher asked one question, but Sara stayed silent. She felt bad, but did not stop trying. She promised herself, I will answer next time. That night she sat again with her notebook. She wrote the question her teacher asked. She wrote her answer in simple English. Then she practiced it in front of the mirror. Tomorrow she wanted to try again. The next day in school the teacher asked the same question. What do you do in the morning? Sara raised her hand slowly with a nervous smile. She stood up and said, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I take breakfast. Her voice was low, but everyone heard her. The teacher gave her a kind smile and clapped. Her classmates also clapped for her. Sara felt her eyes getting wet, but she smiled. She had finally spoken in English in front of others. Her dream had taken a big step today. After school she walked home like a hero. Her steps felt lighter and faster than before. She told her mother, I spoke in English today. Her mother hugged her and said, I am proud of you. That night Sara slept peacefully with dreams in English. Next morning she made a habit list in her notebook. Speak 3 English lines daily. Write 5 new words and use them. Shadow 1 video from English with Future. Talk to myself in English for 5 minutes. Sara followed her list for the whole week. Each day she felt more comfortable. Her pronunciation improved with practice. She began to think in English slowly. It became a part of her daily life. One Sunday morning, Sara had a new idea. She decided to record her voice while speaking English. She read a story aloud and saved the audio. Then she listened to her own voice carefully. She corrected the words that sounded unclear. At first she felt shy to hear herself, but then she felt proud of her effort. She sent her audio to her cousin Emma. Emma replied, "Your English is getting better." Sara felt warm and happy after reading that. Now Sara wanted to talk to real people. She joined a small online group for English learners. There were boys and girls from many countries. Everyone spoke slowly and helped each other. Sara introduced herself and shared her story. She said, "I am from Pakistan. I love to learn English." Others clapped and sent kind messages in chat. Her heart was full of joy and new energy. She made two new friends from India and Morocco. Now she had a small English-speaking world. Every evening she joined the group for practice. She played games like word chain and English bingo. They shared one English sentence of the day. Sara never missed a single session. She felt her English was now flying like. One day her teacher announced a small English speech contest. Students had to speak for 2 minutes on any topic. Sara felt nervous, but also excited. She chose the topic "How I Started Learning English." She prepared her speech by writing and practicing. She stood on the stage with her paper in hand, but she did not look at it while speaking. She told the story of how she practiced with videos, how she spoke to the mirror and joined an online group, how she kept going even when it was hard. Her classmates listened with full attention. When she finished, the whole class clapped loudly. The teacher said, "This is called true learning." Sara felt proud and confident. Her heart was full of joy and victory. Later that day she received a small trophy, Best Improvement in Spoken English. She took it home and placed it on her table. She smiled and whispered to herself, "I made it, I can speak English now." And from that day on, Sara, the morning air was still fresh and her mind was running fast. She remembered her mother's soft voice. When she used to wake her up for school, she missed her mother's hands on her forehead every morning, and she missed the way her younger brother laughed for no reason. She sat on a bench near the small garden of the hostel and opened her English notebook. She had written some sentences the night before, but now she wanted to speak them aloud. She remembered a tip her teacher gave her: if you want to learn English, speak it like you are talking to your best friend. Don't worry about mistakes, just let your tongue flow. So she looked at the trees and imagined they were her family standing in front of her. She smiled and said, "Good morning, Mom, how are you? I missed you so much." Then she turned to another side and said, "Hey little brother, I hope you didn't touch my books again." She giggled softly, then became serious and repeated the lines again and again. For the next 20 minutes she practiced daily phrases. "Hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. What did you do today?" "I studied English and cleaned my room." She kept her voice natural and calm. She tried to copy the accent from a video she had watched yesterday. Later, Sara walked back to her room and took a deep breath. She knew she had to keep this routine every day, even if it was hard. She believed that one day she would speak English confidently and maybe even teach someone else how to do it too. She looked at herself in the mirror and said, "I believe in you, you can do this." At breakfast she sat with two girls who were also trying to learn English. One of them asked her, "How do you say this sentence in English?" Sara tried her best to translate it, and even though she was not perfect, they all laughed and learn it together. It made her happy to know she was not alone. That evening Sara joined an online group chat for English learners. People from many countries were there. They all spoke slowly and corrected each other kindly. One man from Brazil told a funny story about how he ordered the wrong food because he said chicken instead of chocolate. Everyone laughed, and Sara also shared a small story about her first day at the hostel. The more she listened and spoke, the more confident she felt, and she started writing a diary in English. She wrote about her day, what she learned, and how she felt. She read it aloud every night before sleeping, and this habit made her speaking better day by day. One night her roommate said to her, "Sara, your English is improving. You sound like a native speaker." Sara felt proud, but she knew she still had a long way to go. She thanked her and said, "I just practice a lot. I talk to myself in English all the time." Before going to bed, Sara looked out the window. The moon was shining bright. She whispered to the sky, "Mom, I hope you are proud of me. I am doing what I promised, and I will never stop trying." The next morning Sara woke up before the alarm rang. She stretched her arms and looked outside the window. The sun was just rising and everything looked calm. She remembered her goal and repeated it in her heart. "I will speak English with confidence." One day she brushed her teeth and stood in front of the mirror. She started her day with simple phrases again, like, "I am getting ready. I will eat breakfast now. I am going to class." These sentences felt natural now because she had practiced them so often. After the class, Sara went to the library. She picked a short story book written in simple English. She read it out loud, sentence by sentence, whispering to herself, as if she was telling the story to a child. She loved the feeling of understanding and pronouncing words clearly. Every page gave her more confidence, and she started writing down her favorite phrases from the book in her notebook. Later she went to the cafeteria and saw a girl sitting alone. The girl looked nervous, so Sara sat next to her and smiled. "Hello, my name is Sara. What is your name?" The girl looked surprised but happy. She replied slowly, "My name is Aisha. I am new here." Sara smiled and said, "Me too. Let's be friends from today." And they started talking in English, slowly helping each other when they got stuck. It was not perfect, but it English confidently. That evening Sara joined another group video call with learners from around the world. This time the topic was travel, and each person shared their dream destination. When it was her turn, Sara said, "I want to visit Turkey because my mother always talked about its beauty." She felt emotional, but she spoke clearly, and the group clapped for her confidence. Before sleeping, she recorded her voice on her phone. She spoke about her day, her feelings, her progress, and her dreams. She played the recording and listened to her own voice. For a moment she closed her eyes and thought, "I am really doing it. I am becoming fluent." Slowly, over the next few weeks, Sara kept her routine strong. Every morning she practiced basic phrases. Every afternoon she listened and shadowed podcasts. Every evening she read aloud, and every night she recorded her thoughts in English. She also watched English movies with subtitles and repeated dialogues out loud, trying to copy the tone and expression. One night her teacher asked the class to present a short story in English, and Sara volunteered without fear. She stood up and spoke about her first week at the hostel, how she felt lonely but kept learning, how she missed home but found new friends, and how English became her daily friend. Her voice was steady and her eyes sparkled. When she finished, the class clapped and the teacher said, "Well done, Sara. That was a beautiful story." That night she wrote in her diary, "Today was the first." She looked at her notebook filled with words, phrases, and stories and smiled. She hugged it close and whispered, "You are my best friend now, and tomorrow we will speak more and more together."